Hello bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. This is the start of another reading vlog. So it has been a week and a couple days since my last check-in and I'm here to tell you what I've been up to over the last week. I've actually done quite a bit of reading, but before we jump into the reading updates, I want to update on non-reading things. What non-reading things have I been doing? I actually haven't been doing a lot of non-reading things. I'm still playing around with Notion a little bit. I used it to set up my TBR, which I filmed and posted recently. And I definitely think it's a really cool tool, but I just don't know if it's like more work than it's worth. I haven't decided yet, so we'll see if I keep that up. Really haven't been watching a lot of TV other than Big Brother, which quite frankly has been a little bit disappointing. It's just gotten to be a little predictable and some of my favorite people have been kicked out of the house. So we're still watching, but it's definitely not as fun as I would like. Oh, we did watch the movie Enola Holmes the other day. I was super excited about it, and it was a little more like cheesy than I was expecting, just because I'm not familiar with the books that it's based on, but it was a lot of fun. Other than that, I've just been trying to make BookTube a priority over the last week. I've been brainstorming more video ideas, trying to film more. If you don't know, I love to edit videos, but I don't love filming them. And so filming has always been a struggle for me. So I have lots of ideas of things that I want to post in October. I don't know how many of those things will actually be happening. But really, the main thing that I've been doing over the last week is I've been reading more of Words of Radiance. I think since my last check-in, I have received my very own floppy paperback copy of this book. I unboxed it on my Instagram. Maybe I can insert that clip in the life clip section of this vlog, but I'm very happy to own my own copy. Basically, the copy that I had was due back at the library because for some reason the library system that I use that has like 10 libraries as a part of it only had 2 copies of Words of Radiance, and you know, now that Rhythm of War is coming out, I feel like more people are reading the series, and basically someone put a hold on the book and I had to take it back. But I wasn't done reading it, I was only halfway through, so I had to buy my own copy. But I am happy to own this because I 1000% know I'm going to be rereading this at some point, most likely when book 5 of Stormlight comes out. So I've made quite a bit of progress in this. I am now this far through it, which I believe is like 80, maybe 82%. It is page 882, and it is the last chapter. Like tonight I have to read the last chapter in part 4, and then I have to read the interludes, and then tomorrow I'm gonna read part 5 all in one go, and I'm so excited about it. I have really been enjoying this book. I'm talking about it with so many different people. Like, I'm talking about it with Michael Knipp and some of the Storm Along 2020 people. I'm talking about it with Elliot Brooks, my friend. I'm talking about it with this other girl, Megan, that I met on a Wheel of Time Discord server. We were kind of buddy reading it together, but I took way longer to finish it than she did. So it's been a lot of fun to like update a lot of people on my reading experience of this, and in fact I am definitely doing a book diary of this, but a little bit differently than I have in the past. Basically, I'm trying to just capture some of my raw reactions to things right after I read them. I was highly inspired by Elliot's video where she shared her reactions to the first 10 chapters of Rhythm of War, because there's like sneak peeks out and stuff. You guys have probably seen that video, or maybe you didn't. It's completely spoiler-free for the series, so even if you haven't read the first book, you can totally watch it. And it just, the pure joy in her voice talking about what happened in those 10 chapters is just so exciting, and it made me so giddy. And also listening to some of the messages I've sent to people, because a lot of times I send Voxer messages, which are voice messages, and re-listening to them and hearing the excitement in my own voice just made me so happy, and I wanted to try and capture some of that in like a vlog style book diary. So I'm working on that as I read through the second half of this book, but I know that the ending is going to have a lot of reveals and stuff, and so I just feel like it's going to be a super long video. Hopefully at least some of you guys will find that interesting. But this one is going really well, and I cannot wait to finish it. On Thursday, today's Tuesday, on Thursday, I'm going to be joining in on the final Storm Along 2020 live stream for Words of Radiance. And by joining, I mean like as a participant in the chat. And I'm super excited because I haven't caught any of the live streams for this book because I've been behind the whole time. And I'm finally going to get caught up. I'm going to finish the book the day before the live stream. I'm a little bit of a procrastinator, if you didn't know. And then okay, so that is the only book that I am currently reading. I've actually finished 2 books since my last check-in. I probably should have talked about them before I talked about Words of Radiance, but I was just like so excited to tell you about all of my progress in Words of Radiance. So at the end of my last reading vlog, I talked about Fablehaven by Brennan Mull, which is a YA contemporary fantasy, and I finished that not too long after I filmed my last clip, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it, I think, 4 stars. There wasn't really anything about it that I particularly disliked. It just didn't exactly give me 5-star feelings, but I thought it was a really cute middle grade. I will definitely be continuing on in the series because there were some, you know, overarching, larger plot things hinted at that I want to know about, but I thought it was a really great introduction to these characters and the world. I really like the main character, Kendra. She was the older of the 2 siblings, and she was just very like smart and mature for her age, which I really liked. And then her younger brother Seth was like the annoying little brother character, and he definitely provided some comic relief. Just that book in general was light and fun and definitely what I needed to help me come out of a reading slump. And then the other book that I finished between my last check-in and now, I actually finished it like right before I sat down to film this, was my audiobook of Beautiful by Juliet Marillier. This one is a sort of retelling story inspired by the fairy tale East of the Sun, West of the Moon, which before picking up this book I was really unfamiliar with. And I actually think that being more familiar with that fairy tale might have helped me to enjoy the story more. I didn't dislike it. I think I'm gonna give it a 3 stars. I'm kind of waffling between 3 and 4 because there weren't really that many things that I didn't like about it. There were a few things that kind of annoyed me, I guess. But there were some things that I liked too. I don't know, I'm kind of leaning towards rounding down from 3.5 to 3 stars instead of rounding up, just because it didn't really make me feel anything. And by the end of the story, like the last hour and a half of the audiobook, I was just like ready for it to be over, and I just knew that it wasn't going to make me feel anything. One of the things that was frustrating is the main character. It's done on purpose. She's meant to be naive, but she is super naive, and those just aren't my favorite kind of characters to read from. There was even this scene that I just thought was like really awkward and not necessary to the story, where one of her love interests basically explains to her like where babies come from, like gives her a birds and the bees talk, and I just was sitting there listening to it being like, really? This is what we're talking about right now? It did definitely give me like fairy tale vibes and fairy tale feelings, so if that's something you really enjoy, which that is something that I enjoy, then you might like this as well, especially if you are already a fan of the fairy tale East of the Sun, West of the Moon, which I believe is a Nordic fairy tale that has overlap or similar origins to Beauty and the Beast. There's some Beauty and the Beast elements to that fairy tale, which I thought were really cool. So the story is told in 3 parts, and the very first part follows that fairy tale really closely, and then from there it really diverges in the second and third part. The first part of the story was my favorite, the part that was closely following the fairy tale. And after that, I mean, it was interesting, and it's like a story about the main character finding herself, but I just didn't love the main character, and I was just kind of bored for the rest of the story. So not something that I loved, but I definitely think that people who are fans of that fairy tale, or who just really like fairy tale retellings, would enjoy it. Alright guys, those are the things that I have been reading for the last week. I can't believe I'm only reading one book right now that I'm gonna finish in the next couple of days, so I really need to decide what I'm picking up next because I'm unsure where I want to go in my TBR. I'm so excited about all of the things in my TBR, and you're just gonna have to find out in my next clip. Alright guys, check in with you later. Bye. Hey guys, it's me. I am here to wrap up this vlog and tell you what I've been up to over the last week. So today is Thursday, October 8th. Today's my booktube anniversary. I'm sure you guys saw I posted a video today celebrating my 5-year booktube anniversary. I can't believe it's been 5 years. It has definitely flown by. Not only is today my 5-year booktube anniversary, but just last night, the night before my booktube anniversary, I hit 5,000 subscribers and I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much, everyone who is subscribed and watches and comments and gives me likes and interacts with me on the bookish internet, like on Twitter, on Instagram. I so appreciate it, and I'm just so grateful to have this community to talk about books with. So it's been about a week and 2 days since my last check-in, and I have quite a bit to update you on, actually. Before I get into the bookish updates, non-bookish updates, I've actually watched a couple movies since my last check-in. We don't watch movies like super often, but especially in October, I get into more of a movie mood, and I like to watch a lot of horror movies in October. We've only just barely gotten into that, but one movie that we watched since my last check-in is a movie on Netflix called The Devil All the Time. We'd seen the trailer, and it looked interesting, and Robert Pattinson is in it, as well as Tom Holland, who my husband is a fan of. I mean, I like him too. And it's not really a horror movie, except there's a scene with spiders that I had to close my eyes because I'm a tad arachnophobic, and by a tad I mean very arachnophobic. It takes place in like West Virginia, like in the 60s or something, kind of like in the past, and it's basically about a bunch of terrible people and terrible things happening to like normal people, like not terrible people. It was an alright movie. It was just kind of really depressing because everything was really crappy. So we watched that, and then because we're getting into the horror season, we also watched a Korean zombie movie called #Alive. Train to Busan is one of my favorite zombie movies, probably is my favorite zombie movie. That's another Korean zombie movie that takes place like basically on a train. And Korean zombies tend to be like the really fast, super terrifying kind. So that's the kind of zombies that were in #Alive, and it wasn't quite as good as Train to Busan, but it was close. If you guys are into Korean zombies, there's also a TV show on Netflix called Kingdom or maybe The Kingdom, not the one about Vikings. This one's set in historical Korea and it's a zombie show, and that one is really good. So if you guys are into that kind of thing, definitely check that out. Other than that, I've just been focusing on booktube and reading. I am going to be going out of town this next week, Monday, so today's Thursday. Monday, the 12th, is my birthday, which is very exciting. I'm going to be turning 33, and we are going camping for my birthday, which I'm super excited about. We were supposed to go on this like exact same camping trip back in April, but we had to cancel because of COVID, and so we knew we wanted to reschedule it sometime this year, and we're like, what the heck, let's do it for my birthday. I'm hoping to get a lot of things read during camping next week, but anyways, I'm trying to pre-film and edit things, so I have some stuff going up next week while I'm out of town. So, reading update, I have finished a couple of things, which honestly, the things that I've read in this whole blog you guys are already aware of because I already posted my September wrap-up, and the things that I finished in September / on October 1st. But since my last update, I finished Words of Radiance, and it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. I did not finish it on the schedule that I said I would in my last clip. I was actually still reading it when the Storm Along 2020 live stream started, so the live stream was 2 hours long, and I was still reading for the first hour, but I was determined to finish and catch some of the live stream. I finished it an hour into the live stream, and I was able to catch the second hour of it, so that was a lot of fun. I wish I had finished it sooner, but like I said, I'm kind of a procrastinator, and I always underestimate how long it's going to take me to finish books. And also, it took me a little bit longer because I was filming those reactions that I mentioned, which I have already started editing those reaction videos. I mentioned in my last clip that it was going to be a really long video, and instead I've decided to kind of cut it up into 3 different videos. I'm going to do a reaction vlog or book diary for part 3, like the part of Words of Radiance that's labeled part 3, and one for part 4 and one for part 5, and those will be coming out over the next couple of weeks. So if you have read Words of Radiance, definitely look out for those videos because my reactions are really fun. I'm having so much fun editing those videos. Of course, the last half of Words of Radiance was amazing. Lots of really good reveals, and the pacing was great, and I am just like super antsy to continue on in the series. I am currently reading Edge Dancer, so that's the novella in between Words of Radiance and Oathbringer, and I'm probably 3/4 of the way through that, so I should be finishing it soon. I'm enjoying it. I really like Lift, who's the main character of the novella. I can see why she might be a little bit annoying for people, but I think she's hilarious, and her banter between her and her spren, Wendell, is hilarious. I love Wendell. I probably love Wendell more than I like Lift. So that one is going really well, and I'm hoping to start Oathbringer like in a few days when I go camping. Another thing that I finished since my last check-in is actually another novella. On like the last couple of days of September, I decided I wanted to squeeze in one more short thing, and so I read Artificial Condition by Martha Wells, which is the second novella in the Murderbot Diaries series, and I had so much fun with that. I just think Murderbot is hilarious and has a really good sense of humor, and in the second installment in the series, there's another AI character that we're introduced to, and that AI character was hilarious. Their interaction together was so funny, and it was a lot of fun and definitely a nice little pick-me-up at the end of the month. I listened to that on audiobook mostly, and I really like the narrator, so I'm going to try and continue on the rest of the series on audio as well because I think the narrator does a really good job. Definitely recommend the audiobooks if you can get your hands on those. Okay, so those are the only 2 things that I finished. I already told you that I'm in the middle of Edge Dancer, and the only other thing that I am reading right now is this book behind me. I am currently reading Teeth in the Mist by Dawn Kurtagich. After finishing the last couple of books that I finished, I was starting to be in a spooky book mood, so I picked this one up. I'm primarily listening to this on audio. Actually, I'm trying to do them at the same time because the book itself has some cool formatting things that I want to see with my eyes and some like art and things like that. So I don't want to miss out on that. So I have been reading and listening at the same time, but the audiobook is definitely the way to go if you have to pick between the 2 because it has multiple narrators and it's kind of like this big production theatrical thing where they have sound effects and like echoes and demonic voices, which I had read about in some of the Goodreads reviews, and I was like super excited about it. And is this in the right place? Yeah. I am 182 pages into this, so I've read this much of it, so a little less than half, and I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not like I can't put down, oh, I just hit myself. It's definitely not like I can't put it down sort of enjoying it, but I'm very intrigued. There are multiple timelines, and I'm still kind of piecing together how they tie together. They both tie back to a specific location, and I actually think there might be a third timeline that is, yeah, actually, I would say that there is a third timeline, but we've only gotten a few glimpses, like diary entries from that third timeline. But they all center around this old mill that in the present day is like completely abandoned and possibly haunted. And there's definitely magic, like some of the characters can do magic. And yeah, right now it's just kind of very like chaotic, and I don't really know how things tie together, but I'm still enjoying it. I guess that my main descriptor for this right now is that I'm intrigued. I don't know where it's going, and I'm intrigued to find out how everything ties together and what exactly is going on, because you're kind of confused, but I think you're supposed to be confused. So this one is going well, and I'm excited to finish this, hopefully over the next week while I'm camping. I think this will be really creepy to read while I'm camping. Okay guys, those are my updates. My next reading vlog will be covering kind of a little bit of a shorter time span, because I'm actually going to do like a dedicated vlog for my camping trip, so more or less over the span of a week, but I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done next week. When I go camping, I just relax, and my husband does all the work, and I usually do like a lot of reading, a lot of editing. It's a little bit glampy, like we have electricity and running water and bathrooms and showers and stuff, but I just enjoy being out in nature and being able to do the things that I love, like reading and editing videos. So I am really excited about my next reading vlog, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. That is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye.